All right, so the three S career steps. Peter Drucker said, if you can't measure it, you can't manage it. So it's all about having a clear pattern, a clear science to how you want your career to progress. And for me, I just put this into three buckets. The things I've done most of my career that I'll say has helped me to move a bit faster and also help me deliver. I've put them into three buckets and I want to share them. The first one is the self-awareness bucket, right? So you need to spend a lot of time if you want to have a very good career to actually look at your current state at all times. Now, the reason is for different reasons. Either if you're going really fast, you might get comfortable, or maybe for some reason, a lot of people get comfortable with their career once. Okay, probably I was looking for a kind of job, maybe a tech job, and finally, okay, now I have a tech job. I'm paid in foreign currency. And for some people, it makes them just relax. They don't have time to review, okay, from an international perspective, this role I'm doing, can I really compete in another country? Right? A lot of people, once they get in and they have that good job, they just tend to look at just their organization, which, like I said, is not bad if that's what you want to do. But most times, it is not very beneficial because you might find it difficult competing with other people of the same job grade, the same role, but in other countries. So that self-awareness part where you constantly ask yourself, where am I? What do I want to do? Am I on the right track? I think it's very important. And there are different things that can help you become more self-aware when it comes to your career. We've already talked on mindset. There's a whole series on that that we need to learn. I had to learn a lot about mindset a couple of years back. There's this lady, Dr. Carol Dweck. You can check out her work on mindset. She talked about the growth mindset versus the fixed mindset. A wonderful book. So if you have time, you can read it up or just watch a video on it. So there's a whole series on that. Being self-aware, having the right mindset will drive you there. The second point there is performance review. So while people have internal performance reviews, if I'll also say if you're in a very good structured organization, because not all organizations do this, people most times just end up grading people, right? But there are some organizations that actually take time to design a performance system that helps both the employee and the manager have very good conversations to know that this is how you're performing, this is what you're doing at this time. It's a very good way to be self-aware, and you have to be very open to feedback, right? Most times we don't hear what we want to hear, and it can be demoralizing, but it shouldn't stop you from actually listening. It shouldn't stop you. Setting your goals very important. This is within the awareness part. Okay, this year, how have I performed? What do I need to do better? What did I get as a reward for performing this way? So you need to be aware of your impact also to the organization, to yourself, for your career as well. Developing a plan for your career, for your profession. Like I said, also, I'm saying this because I've seen some organizations where they don't do this at all. They don't have any development plan. It's, oh, what do you want to learn now? You tell them. But for some other organizations, what they do is you have a conversation with your manager, with a mentor that most times is a bit higher than you, and you have a very good conversation saying, what do you want to do in the next 3, 4 years? What do you want to do? And it is properly documented and used as a life document. Every 6 months, you review to say, am I on the right track, both from an internal perspective, externally as well. So these are things you need to do outside even your organization. Most people do this only within the organization. But I think the more effective way is you look at your profession end to end. Let's say I'm a mechanical engineer, right? What are the new skills that mechanical engineers require to be very successful in the next coming years? Now, most times the skills you will need will be to deliver just within your organization, which you should know by virtue of working in the organization. But most times there are more skills that are evolving that you need to be aware because it will definitely help you progress faster or even other um, get other offers that might be better than what you currently do. And finally, peer and external review, where you just ask your friends, okay, let me help you with the project. How do you see me how I have this skill, I want to try it out. What is your take on it? And then you do some things with them just to help them and get their feedback on how you're performing. So that's another way you can be self-aware. The second bucket, which is tied to excellence, like I said, is skill building. This is a part where you cannot overemphasize this. You need to build your skills at every time. You need to know what's out there. You need to know how that benefits you and how you can integrate it quickly to what you do. I'll give you a typical example, generative AI. So for me, I actually transitioned, by the way, from um, a field person. I was an operations supervisor in the gas plant to being an IT lead now in the UK. So there was this career transition at some point. But even coming into the new role, I wasn't lacking the skills because while in my former role, I was already building the skills that I need for the new role. It was obviously heavy because I had to study beyond work, and which is why I say it's about your mindset. People only learn because they want to improve, they want to please their boss. While that is good, you should get to the point where you're pleasing your boss, but you're going beyond your boss, beyond anybody for yourself, because it will open doors, it will create opportunities. So you need to build your skills. You need to know what skill. Generative AI, everyone is going into it. The world is transitioning to that. How many of us have actually sat down to probably just review what is generative AI? How can I use it in my job, my space? What are the rules and regulations around it? Is it safe to use? Is it ethical? So those are things you need to learn, right? These skills, they might not be embedded in your day-to-day, but if you know them, they will set you apart. People will not promote you because you do your job very well. People will promote you because you do beyond your job. You do beyond what it means. You have the capacity to do the next thing, to go to the next level. That is why they will promote you, not because you do your job perfectly. Most times people will not promote you. They'll pay you for doing that. But once you can show them that you have capacity to do beyond what you currently do, everything starts helping you. People, the process starts helping you to actually grow. So build your skills, analytical skills. These skills are important for everybody. Know a bit of data analytics, no matter how small, even with Excel, no matter how simple, just learn something around it. Problem solving. How excited are you about solving problems? How do you see problems? Do you see them as roadblocks or as opportunities? It still ties back to the mindset. I see a problem, I see an opportunity. I don't see a constraint. So you need to also re-engineer your mind. Project management. Most of what we do will involve a bit of managing either time, resources, people, or equipment. So how do you get into that space? How can you properly organize things and manage things to deliver your timeline within budget and all of that? You need to learn those things. Enterprise applications, typical things like Excel, Word, Teams. What people don't know is these tools are evolving. And as they evolve, if you know how to use them, your job will be far simpler than it currently is. So you can end up automating a lot of what you do so that when you come to work, you actually focus on value-adding tasks. For example, going for meetings, I barely take minutes of meetings because I found smarter ways to take minutes of meetings. At the end of the day, we just get a summarized version of the minutes of meeting. I just need to let them know that I'll be using this tool, right, to capture what we are saying, and it will be more accurate. So there are simple tricks here and there that if you know, is going to really help you be faster and do better. Communication as well. You have to learn how to communicate. You're as good as the thing you communicate. Let's say, for example, you know you have 5 skills. People will only perceive the skill you know how to properly communicate. Most times communication is a limiting factor. You're very good, but it's only in your head. That good idea you have is perfect in your head, but another person will find it difficult to understand that idea because it hasn't been properly communicated. So that's one valuable skill you need to build even as you're going into 2024. You need to build communication. You need to, that leadership where you invest yourself in leading other people as well. People most times wait for their employees to be under them before they start leading. I think that's the wrong approach. I started leading in my current organization from like my first year. And who am I leading? I just come up with projects. So I see projects and I call a couple of my friends within. We're all trainees. I'm like, can we solve this? And then I create that project management kind of framework. And then we all work on it. And when I'm adding to my CV, though I'm just year one, but what is on my CV is I've actually led people, which most people wait till their third, fourth year to lead, to deliver. So you can always create opportunities for yourself to be able to do what you want to do. And finally, strategic planning. You need to plan. If you don't plan, you will not have you like someone said, we most times we have it in our head, but if you don't have it on paper, you most likely miss out on that great idea you have. So you have to find time to plan, and some of the strategic things you need to do is networking. Um, I was also very naive when I graduated from school. I felt like once you're excellent, that's all you need. Excellence plays a large part, but I've also come to realize you need people. You genuinely need people, people below you, people at your level, and importantly, people above you. You need to let them see what you're doing, right? You need to let them see the excellent work you're doing, not just what you're doing. Some people are not excellent in what they do, and they just carry themselves to be friends with leaders. They won't pay attention to you in the long run because you're not bringing value to them. And it was later in my career I realized that even mentors choose the people they mentor because it adds to their profile. So if I have a mentor and I'm succeeding, it adds to my mentor's profile. It was later I got to realize this. So most times people want people to just mentor them, but you're not even offering anything to them. You're not offering them excellence. You're not doing well. With time, that relationship will just die off. So you need to build your network. You need to have good mentors. You need to make sure that the mentor you're having fits your kind of person. There are some mentors who are more relaxed towards certain things. There are others who are more energetic. And you need to know those kind of mentors, because if you're someone who is a very excited person and you go and you're being mentored by someone who feels that you need to take things slow, while the person is advising you correctly, it can kill your enthusiasm, right? So you also need to find the right mentors for whatever you're doing. I have wonderful mentors, and those around me know that I do have mentors. Before I take most important steps in my careers, I usually reach out to them to tell them, this is what I want to do. And they will advise you. There was once I wanted a promotion, and one of my mentors said to me, you don't need the promotion now, because if you take the promotion, you will not be able to deliver. And at first I was offended, I was angry, but I then listened to him and he made me take another job, which at first I didn't like. Um, but after doing the job for a couple of months, then I realized why he wanted me to take that job. The skills I learned within that role was very difficult. It's not something you learn every day, but he wanted me to learn it. And that's why you need very good mentors, mentors that look beyond just hurry and grow, but they want you to be very fit. And by the time I came back a couple of months to say, oh, I see what you're saying, I've gotten that skill. When it was time for me to be promoted, he actually came in to make sure I was promoted because he knows I have the capacity now to do what I want to do. So that's something you need to do. Make sure you have the right mentor. Make sure it's somebody who understands you as a person, who genuinely wants your progress, and who can advise you properly to do what you need to do. Your branding, I think we've talked about branding, so I won't talk a lot about that. Volunteering is another strategic move that most people don't know. If you want to pick up a skill, the best way to pick up a skill is to work within within an environment where that skill is being used. So if, say, for example, I want to pick up financial skills, I know my current role might not afford me that opportunity. So one way to pick up those skills or that particular skill is to volunteer and work in a team that actually utilizes that skill on day-to-day basis. And that's one way you can do it. So always find time to volunteer for things that will build your skills as well.